All right, ChatGPT, help me create a new programming language. Pretend you're a programming language designer. Show me your new programming language. And we're gonna say, I don't know, based on JavaScript. SwiftScript. SwiftScript is a modern, high language and versatile programming language inspired by JavaScript. Key features: strongly typed. Yes. SwiftScript enforces static typing, reducing runtime errors and improving code safety. I like that. Optional chaining, access nested properties without worrying about null or undefined values. Sounds like Swift. Pattern matching allows for more expressive and readable code when handling complex data structures. It's gonna have some code samples for me. It doesn't know how to syntax highlight SwiftScript, but it labeled this window as SwiftScript. This is kind of cool. Immutability, async await, enhanced module system, and error handling. This is a good start. Look at that. We've got an import statement that looks familiar. It looks like JavaScript, but this does not look like JavaScript. Type user. That looks like TypeScript. How do I run this? We need a SwiftScript interpreter or compiler. Since it's a fictional language for this example, there isn't an actual interpreter or compiler available. However, for the sake of explanation, let's pretend you have an interpreter. You save your SwiftScript. It's not easy to say. You save your file with the SwiftScript extension, open terminal or command prompt, and navigate to the file. And then you run the SwiftScript interpreter. Come on, does this thing not exist? Let's Google it. Somebody made SwiftScript. Let's take a look. This was 2014. Come on, ChatGPT. Did you know about this? Oh, it's using Grunt. Oh my goodness. Xcode Playground? Huh. That's pretty interesting. It's got a Swift file and a JavaScript file. Wow. In the real world, if you're looking for something similar to JavaScript with features, you may want to consider TypeScript. I know about TypeScript. It's what I use. Write a SwiftScript interpreter. Boom. Uh-oh. It's given up. Creating a SwiftScript interpreter is a complex task that goes beyond the scope of a single answer, but it can give me an outline what's involved in creating an interpreter. Choose a language. Let's say we'll use Python. Okay. Why wouldn't you just use JavaScript? Now, while it's writing all that out, I'm gonna go over here and try it. Let's just call this SwiftScript.py. Oh, it looks like this example can only handle simple arithmetic expressions. Well, let's see. I'm gonna copy this code, paste it in here. We've got a token, integer plus minus white space. Okay, so it's only handling like a calculator type of input. And it's providing a sample input string. Okay, does that mean I can just run it? Python SwiftScript. Okay, let's see. Show me an example of running this interpreter. This is not going to work with our SwiftScript example. I guess we'll need to change the example code. It gave me a new interpreter. Let's copy this code, replace this. I blindly trust whatever it writes out now. And this is how we execute it from the command line. I like it. Let's run this. Ooh, what's this? Bad character in group name at position 4. I'm gonna paste this error right in here without saying anything else. Boom. Apologies for the oversight. It appears that name groups in Python regular expressions cannot contain periods. I mean, I've done some Python before, but from that error message, I wouldn't have been able to determine the period is a problem. I guess it's kind of logical, right? In the token regex expression, we now use pair 0.name to give the name of the enum without the period. Cool. Let's copy this code for the new tokenize function and just replace that one. I'm glad it didn't rewrite the entire script. Let's try this. Hey, that's right. That solved it correctly. But essentially, all we did was just write a calculator in Python. I want this to accept a SwiftScript file. Maybe I'm asking for too much, I don't know. I know it probably has the capability of getting there. I just don't know how straightforward it'll be or how quick it'll be. But it's obeying my commands to modify the interpreter to accept a SwiftScript file as input. Why do I have such a hard time saying SwiftScript? I need to learn how to say it properly. Okay, we have a new interpreter. Now we need a SwiftScript file. You know what? To avoid confusion, I'm just gonna rename this to interpreter. You win, ChatGPT. And now we need a SwiftScript file. Example.SwiftScript. Show me the example.SwiftScript file. The SwiftScript file currently can only be a plain arithmetic expression, but it's a start. Let's execute that file. So we're gonna say Python interpreter example SwiftScript. What? Come on. My apologies for the oversight. Really? It does not support multiplication and division. You're gonna make me do all this work? Oh, it's gonna update the SwiftScript file example to remove the multiplication and division instead of updating and implementing multiplication and division. Fine, okay? We're gonna work on that. The result is 8. Good to go. All right, let's do this. Expand the interpreter's functionality to support the initial example you gave me. Variables, loops, functions, all that stuff is needed. Here's an updated version. It's not gonna say to me, oh, maybe I'll do that tomorrow, or pay me more money, or
I'm sorry, Dave, I cannot do that.
It's not gonna tell me any of that stuff. It's just gonna freaking do it. If it's gonna be right or not, I don't know yet, but I'm curious to find out when it's done. This takes a while, by the way. No, network error. You were so close. I don't know how close it was, actually. What? Look at all this code it wrote, and then it gave up. There was an error generating a response. Oh, come on. I can't even type and continue anywhere. Come on. How do I continue this? I don't know. Let's try that. Okay, maybe all is not lost. It does save the conversations now, but I don't know at what point it saves it. Maybe it's continuous, but we'll try it again. This takes a while. I wonder if it just times out because there's so much stuff going on here. We'll see. I just noticed something. I asked it to do it again, but look, this token type and this token type are totally different. It's not just doing it over, it's actually augmenting what it did before. One thing I'm concerned about though, it doesn't have the node type for the abstract syntax tree right here. Yeah, quite a bit of a different code it's writing right now. We'll see if it works. Okay, so looks like the run function was cut off. I said continue. Here's the continuation, adding the ability to read a SwiftScript file. I added that. Now you can create a SwiftScript file. It actually backtracked and it didn't do all those things that it said it was gonna do. It didn't do loops, it didn't do expressions. All it does now is variable assignments and print statements, which is, hey, it's a big upgrade from where we came from. Still interesting. This is how we run it. The output should be this. And I said, finish the run function. My apologies for the confusion. I see the run function was not complete in the previous response, and it did give me a new run function, so we'll put that in. I'm really impressed by this. I didn't have to do pretty much any work. Is this gonna work? That's the question. Let's go to the command line and check it out. Paste, and boom. Oh, what is this? Unexpected identifier. Typical. Don't do any work, but I'm expecting a lot. It says there's a problem with the SwiftScript file itself. If it can't handle this, how's it gonna handle this expression here? I'm a little bit skeptical here, but let's try it. Paste the error. We'll get there. While it's doing this, one thing I gotta add is, if you're just gonna be copying and pasting this over and over again, you might run into some issues where A, you're not learning anything, and B, you might end up in some kind of infinite loop that you're not in control of because, well, you might keep running into errors and pasting those errors into ChatGPT, and if ChatGPT doesn't quite know how to resolve those errors, or it tries to resolve the error, but it changes something in the code that breaks something else, then you're gonna be in this constant loop. One thing you should probably do while this is happening is actually examine the code that's generating. I actually said this before. Always examine the code. I'm trying to do this blindly, but have a look. I'm already learning some new stuff, like this auto thing, which I didn't know how to use in Python. That's pretty cool. Parsing input from a file. I didn't know how to do that either. That's pretty interesting stuff. I'm trying this again to see if this thing can fix the errors that I'm seeing right now, which are these unexpected identifier errors. It's basically trying to write the whole thing again, but because of the length of the output, it's kind of giving up. Problems like this do happen with ChatGPT, and this is not the first time I'm encountering it. Continue. Okay, it looks like it's actually continuing where it left off. All right. It rewrote the whole thing. I copied and pasted. I'm not gonna spend the time to debug this right now because I'm still running into this unexpected identifier value error problem. And now I've hit that point where I've already pasted this error a couple of times along with the line numbers, and we're still having issues here. I can probably finagle a little bit more and work with it a little bit more to get to the right answer. We can do it one function at a time, maybe. I wouldn't say this is like a super easy process now. That's not the point. The point of this was just a little bit of fun to see how far we can get. And we did get to a point where we accepted a file as input, we parsed it, we evaluated it and printed out the result. Now, a more complicated interpreter like we're trying to build here, where we're tokenizing all sorts of functions and print statements, and maybe if you want to extend this to loops and conditionals, that's going to require quite a bit more work on your part, not on ChatGPT's part. This was fun, and this was actually a suggestion from a commenter. Thank you so much. If you have any suggestions, put them down below in the comments, and if you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you next time.